Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hope you're doing well. So, I was going on a deep dive into this feminist thread that pretty much melted my brain, but I wanted to share some thoughts with you about a couple of comments that I came across. So, one of the quotes, I'm going to summarize it and rephrase it because I'm going to break this off into little nuggets through several videos. This feminist said, beta successful men desire younger women because they need to have dominance over her in order to keep her. On the surface, this can sound to some women like, oh, that makes sense, because I have to admit, when I was an atheist, I thought that was true. I thought this really negative way of looking at men. But then I realized, when I was younger, I had less baggage, less mental trauma, less problems. Life was simple. Even the way you look at the world, you have a naivete almost, a purity, like a rosebud that hasn't blossomed yet. And you are more adaptable, less rigid. And this is very appealing to men. Further, even when I was younger, I always looked to older men. When I was 13, I'd be watching the 25-year-olds. When I was 18, 30, 35. Now, some feminists might say this is because I didn't have a father figure. They might be right. And that girls who have father figures go for men their own age. But there still is wisdom in women who grew up without dads or strong male role models seeking out older, wiser, established men because they feel safer and mature. And I, as a young buck, liked that. And I didn't understand that I liked it because of that until now that I'm older. And even now, my husband is 10 plus years older than me. I want someone who is more mature, has seen things I haven't seen, has gathered more life experience, and is stoic and mature, fortified and steadfast. I don't think it's fair for these feminists to shame men for getting mad at younger women, because when you're younger, you are less naggy because of the fact you get to still have time to grow. And when you grow with someone, that's a lot easier than if you're 36 or 37, really established in your ways. And you are not going to compromise as easily because you have more of your mental citadel with every brick intact. And sometimes, two castles, there's a bridge that can't be made between them. And so one has to have a little bit more leeway over the other. And so in this thread that Tommy Lauren had, where she was complaining about men going after 25-year-olds instead of 35-year-old boss babe career women, I found this to be quite odd, because it appears that Tommy Lauren, with her millions of dollars, success, fame, heavy makeup, plastic surgery, cars, and whatnot, her first fiance divorced her. Well, actually, sorry, didn't divorce her, but rather cut off the engagement, from my understanding. And she became very bitter about that. And now she supposedly has a fiance, but there's still no official ring on it. But she has made videos about how her boss babe CEO friends cannot find marriages, have no kids, and now they say that those men are not real men because they don't want to have a woman to compete with them. They don't want to have these career women. And she said, they want to go after women who are posting pictures of their purse all day on Instagram. I thought she really minimized the angle there. Sure, the younger women, they might just be posting their purses and whatnot. And they are younger and prettier and don't require as much contouring with makeup on their face and heavy makeup to look younger. Sure, they have that. But the key component here is that what I've learned over time and time again now, listening to men and accepting their opinion, is that they don't really value, they can respect you as an individual for your knowledge and success, but that doesn't mean that they're automatically going to want to wife you up solely due to that. And men don't age the same as women with their beauty. I'd say the prime age is between 16 and 21, or at least 16 or 18, between 25 for a woman's beauty when they're at their peak. And this peak of female beauty and vitality and fertility does not align with the corporate and college model. And this confuses women, and they feel like the world was going to be their oyster once they got all this success and debt and piece of paper that says you're a special girl from a college, when in reality, the women who are even from rural areas, who have a natural beauty, who are submissive, calm, nurturing, they are getting the women, and the feminist alpha women types are getting hyper upset and resentful and vengeful at this. They don't want to feel like their success shouldn't equal sex appeal. And I find this to be kind of heartbreaking for some of them, because they're shaming tactics of men, calling them beta, and saying they only want to dominate women who are young and dumb. It's an insult to young women, and it's dishonest, because there are plenty of young women, as I mentioned, myself included, when I was younger, who wanted older men because there's a stability there. So these younger men, they want to be established, and now they have the option of choosing an older woman who's 35, has a career, who probably doesn't want to give it up, or they can go with a 22-year-old who goes to community college part-time and is willing to stay home, or at least work part-time, and isn't trying to run a Fortune 500 company or something like that. Now they have the option of choosing, and I don't blame them for choosing what they want. Women choose what they want all the time and are allowed to have their preferences. Men are allowed to have their preferences. You can't shame men out of it. The older a woman gets, the more bitter they can sometimes feel. And this to me is quite sad, because they're not doing enough introspection. They're blaming the men, calling them insecure for not wanting to date older career women who have 3 kids and are divorced, or still have no children and are pushing 33, 34. This is not gonna work. You have to accept that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us different. And you can always get your education when your kids are a bit more grown, but when you're young, there's this compulsion to want to have beauty and the male gaze and power like a queen all at once, and that's a fairy tale. It's better to have your youth with your partner struggle, and then in your older years retire and get to travel, go on a cruise, whatever, and have hobbies, because at age 40, until the day you return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're off the market. Sure, you can be a fetish. There'll always be men who like fetishes, who like MILFs and whatnot. But in reality, the Leonardo DiCaprio's of the world who stick at 25 and younger. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. And if we were men, I would say if we women were men, and you had the option, the eyes just naturally attract to that. So earn the respect of men by being wise, dignified, setting a good example, being an asset to your community, something other than just your beauty. You're not going to have the male gaze forever. And after 30, it does go away, and you can get plastic surgery, put on makeup, filters, put fillers in your lips, bleach your teeth really white, put fake eyelashes, fake hair, whatever you want. Long dinosaur nails. The clock is ticking, and you can't escape it. Age with grace and learn to accept that your role in society has changed. You just can't keep pointing the finger at the men for what you didn't want to acknowledge. And there's nothing wrong with a man wanting a 25-year-old. He's 40, he wants 25, it's okay. He doesn't have to go with a 40-year-old woman who has yellowing teeth, crow's feet, and has grays, every month, and is getting closer and closer to menopause. He doesn't have to. That's, why polygamy matters. He can keep you, and he can get his, second wife if he wants. And you can have your hobbies and your children, and wait for your grandchildren. Find other ways to fulfill your soul outside of the male gaze. And men have a different drive to succeed and provide than women, because it's how it was for thousands of years and will continue to be so. Fighting that isn't going to solve it. Let me know what you think.